So, hey, Matt, hey, thank you so much, sir, for being on the Elite Agent Show. I'm so excited to get to know you and have you here. You're always on social media, and I feel like I know you, but this is like really the first time we're conversating today.
This really is, and thank you so much for having me. It's quite an honor, and I really appreciate it. So I watch all of these because I want to learn, from other elite agents, and it just, you do a phenomenal job, and I just love to give back to the community. So
Awesome. Well, before we get started, how was your workout today?
workout was amazing, right? So today was chest day, so it went well.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, I see your posts. You always inspire me, and I think that's a big part of having a high performance insurance agency and being able to lead a team like that. What do you think?
I think so too. I mean, I have a lot of energy, and I think a lot of it comes from, I get up at 4 a.m. So I don't recommend that, but I have a 10 and a 12-year-old, and when they were younger, the only time I could get to be around them, the only time I could find to work out was in the morning. So, but it just gives you so much energy, and it gives you that ability to kind of disconnect and kind of work through as we know as insurance agents, right? Like there's a lot of stress that comes along with it. It kind of gives you that outlet for there.
Absolutely. So, waking up that early, when do you work out? Do you do it after you do a little work, or right when you wake up, or after work?
Yeah, great question. I have a whole morning routine, and that actually started. I'm sure you've heard 75 hard. Have you ever heard of that or done it or anything like that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely heard of it.
Right. So,
Yeah, haven't done it, but
well, you got to do it. You got to do it. But one of the things, one of the requirements is that you have to read 10 pages of the business book, business or self development book. And I'm one of those people that typically before this, because I first did it during 2020, and it kind of changed the trajectory of kind of how my morning routine is. But the big thing is that I hated reading. Right. You're a Grant Cardone guy. I know that. I am as well. I love listening to like Audible and things like that and listening to, different people. But I hated reading. Like I hated it. And like it gave me an opportunity to, every day I had to do it to check it off the list. And I ended up loving reading, even though I've never been someone who enjoys sitting there and reading a book. I'd rather listen to it. But it kind of changed that whole thing. So I do that first thing in the morning. I do different kind. I write down my goals. I do like a form of visualization with regards to the goals. And then I go work out, and I kind of go from there. So things I'm thankful for, those types of things.
nice. Yeah, that reminds me because, man, but from a long time ago, we would comment each other like on our posts like 10.
10x,
Yeah,
right?
it's been a while. We've been following each other.
Right.
But yeah, man, congratulations on your first PC.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's a big deal when you first make it. You're 8 years in the business. But let's just start from the beginning. What were you doing before, or you could even go as far back as you can to bring some context to how you are where you are right now.
Yeah, no, great question. So actually, my father was a farmer's agent for 33 years, believe it or
Oh
not.
wow, okay. Wow.
And I always swore up and down that I would never in a million years be in insurance. I thought it was like the boringest thing in the world. My dad would coach our football, basketball, and baseball teams, and then he would, he'd be like, "Well, I gotta go, check my messages." So he'd go to his office, and there'd be like 30 messages there. And as a kid, like to sit there, these are back in the day, he'd push the button, and it would play the messages, and he'd call every single one of those people back. And I'm like, that is just not, I would never in a million years do that. There's no way whatsoever. So I went to college. I was pre-law, so I was gonna go to law school. Thought JAG was popular at the time when I was in college. So I was like, oh, I'll just, I'll have the Navy pay for it. And, they told me that if I didn't get through law school, that I'd have to, be on a ship or a submarine someplace. And I'm like, well, there's probably a better way to pay for it. So I got into sales. I got into copier sales, first of all. And then I got into the mortgage business. I was working as a loan officer, which really helps in this business. And then, 2008 happened, and, it was a total disaster. And so I ended up working for a company called Gem Resourcing in the energy and utility space. And it was really awesome. But, when Michelle, my wife, and I started having kids, like I was on the road all the time. So we were,
Hmm.
we were traveling all across the United States and Canada. And like I did not want to live that kind of life. I wanted to be there. My dad was always there for us, and so you know, I was like, I don't want to miss out on them growing up. I want to be able to do all these things, and so I decided that I was going to look. I've always had kind of an entrepreneurial spirit. I've always been one of those people that tried to have like side things and was always selling on the side. And I decided I was going to, do something for me. And I was talking to my dad, and he's like, "Well, why don't you get into an insurance?" And I'm like, "No, thank you. There's no way." But he's like, "No, seriously, you should come, to my office and." For a week and just see how you like it. And I'm thinking this is going to be the boringest thing ever, and I can't imagine doing it. But day two, it was so crazy. Day two, I get to the office and he said, "Matt, come with me." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Come with me." And so he takes me down. We get in his car and we drive down, probably a couple blocks from his office. And there was a fire. Like one of his clients there was a fire at their house, and what happened is that one of their they had a smoker, an electric smoker, and it was supposed to turn off. They were smoking some meat in the middle of the night, didn't turn off, ended
Mm.
up ended up burning half the house down. And just to see these people, because they, the husband, there was a husband and wife, and they were two little kids, and their kids were about the same age as my kids at the time. And they just looked disheveled. Like the lady had like one slipper on, and there was nothing. They just looked completely like it was the saddest sight you've ever seen. But there was a claims adjuster there,
Mm.
and the guy handed him a check right there, right, and they ended up finding him a place to live right down the street. There was a home for rent right down the street. They ended up finding it, and all of a sudden it clicked for me, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot different than I thought it was. This wasn't, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Groundhog Day,
Mhm.
but it's not that. It's like you're actually helping people, and it was almost like a sign from God or something that like this is something you're meant to do, right? And so that's how I ended up getting started in the business. So I ended up starting an agency when my dad retired. I bought his book as well. It was a small book by then, but that's how I got in the business.
Wow. So, well, how long? This is 8 years ago?
Yeah, 8 years ago. We just turned 8 in February.
Wow, awesome. So, what does your agency look like now as far as any numbers you want to share as far as like policies or premium or staff or?
Yeah, so I have two agencies now. I just acquired a second agency in
Oh
December.
yeah.
And so we're at around like total is about 7 million in premium, and then we have eight agents that
Nice.
work on the team.
Nice. So do you spend like half of your time at one and the other one?
I'd like to say that was the plan, but like, so I actually own my space, and so and it's right down the street from my house. The other agency is probably 15-20 minutes away, so I spend actually more time here. That's the beauty of technology, is you can kind of run both from the same space, especially once we got everything worked out and we got the phone systems worked out and Zoom and everything along those lines. So I probably spend 2 days at the other agency, and then most half days, and then most of the days here. So sometimes I'll spend a little bit more, but mostly here.
Nice. Okay. Wow. Wow. Congratulations. Yeah, that's a big, operation you got going on there. But tell me about the early years. Do you think you were one of the agents that got off to a good start, or?
Oh man. So it's kind of funny because when you first start out, right, like you have all these delusions of grandeur, that especially coming from sales, that you're going to go out and do like make a bunch of sales, and you're going to go call people, and um once I purchased my dad's book, all of a sudden I had to service these, right? So I was growing pretty well on my own. And then when I purchased his book, all of a sudden I had his people, and his people were about his age at the time. They were retired. And so, and then the next generation took a huge, not even kidding, like a huge rate increase, like 50%. I lost like half of his book, and his book wasn't even that big in the first place, right? And
Mhm.
so like immediately, like I'm underwater, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the heck did I get myself into? Like, this is like, what am I doing here? Right. And so my district manager, Nick Gustafson, like talked and said, hey, you should go to this agent conference. They had a territory agent conference. And so I went, and, I was like trying to think of ways to, get out of the business altogether. And so luckily, Megan Toole and Jesse Dreyer were two of the speakers there. And I just made a connection with both of them, right? Jesse, he used to be a mortgage broker, which is what I used to do. He kind of talked about how he had a bad attitude in the beginning and then ended up turning it around. I mean, I'm only 6 months into it at this point, so it wasn't like, but and he had those systems and processes that he did, and I said, wow, that really makes sense, and it makes sense from a referral basis and stuff like that. And then Megan, like she was a collegiate athlete, I was an athlete as well. And she had a ton of energy, and the way that she, talked about things, it's, kind of a team and everything along those lines. Both of those things just kind of completely changed my attitude right then and there. And I was so excited to go back and just, grow as much as possible. And so that's, we ended up winning Rookie of the Year in our district, our first year, even though the first 6 months weren't the greatest in the world. But then, after that, we made toppers every single year. And of course, she's, as you said, President's Council this year. So,
Wow, that's crazy, huh? How like just being around the right agents
yeah,
could completely change things.
it is amazing, because if you get around the wrong people, and this is just like in life, just like anything else, right? If you get around negative people, right? You're going to end up going negative. So you want to be around positive people who are looking forward, who want to win, who want to go out there and dominate, right? And want to be the best versions of themselves. Like, those are the kind of people I want to be around, because they inspire me. Like you, Dan, like you, I mean, like, like, look at all the stuff you do. It's just like so inspiring to me. And I'm like, wow, I'm not like, oh, well, I could never do that. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. He's done it. We could do that too. So like, those are the kind of things that I think we need more in farmers in general, and then just in the world in general. Just think how great the world would be if everyone was just aspiring to be a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what, part of the show is about, is to have access to great agents like you who are doing great things and other people could learn from. Because we need to, sometimes they don't have access or they don't really see the wins. But tell me, tell me some other strategic moves that you made throughout these 8 years that really would say made the biggest differences.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great question. I think the biggest change was looking at it from what's in it for Matt to what's looking at it for my team, right? And what I mean by that is that early on it was all about me, and I thought, well, I'm the agent, right? And they're just my employees, and I pay them, so they need to do work for me. And that I wasn't getting very far in that. Imagine that, like, who wants to work in an environment like that? But when I kind of changed my mindset and I kind of looked at it from like, hey, Matt, look, you've been an employee before, like, what it's like what were the best places that you wanted to work at? And it's always those places that looked at it from a team perspective, right? That looked at it from, that asked me, hey, listen, what do you want out of, your life? Where do you see yourself next year? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I think that builds that, not only that loyalty, but it also builds that, that mentality of teamwork and core values and everything along those lines. And, I remember one of my first people, her name is Kendra. And she, like, I sat her down and I asked her, hey, look, what do you want to get out of this? And she's like, well, I just work here. It's not like, whatever. And I'm like, no, seriously, like, tell me, like, where do you want to go? Like, what do you want to be in next year? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? Right. And she, like, watching her hit every single one of those goals that she set out is almost like better than me hitting any goals, because it's like a group buy-in, because like, Ed Milet talks about this, but have a vision so big that other people can have their own visions inside of that vision. And it's amazing, because like, I get more joy from, watching other people succeed than I do. It's not even really about me anymore. It's like, what can I do? I almost feel like I'm a coach at this point, even though I still am producing on the commercial side and life side and stuff like that. but it's almost like I'm a coach. It's like, what can I do to make them better? And watching my team grow is the greatest thing in the world. So from a strategic standpoint, like I think that's the mindset shift that if you make that, it will pay off in spades.
Boom. Man, very well said. That's really it right there, you know. If you're just not thinking about yourself, but thinking about what you can do for your team, and that makes you more creative and that it makes you work on things that makes a bigger difference than just you selling or you just trying to get as much out of the agency as possible for your personal life. It's really more about what can you do for the team, and the better the team gets, and the bigger and better your agency gets.
Yeah, and you become a family too. I mean, it's like
Hmm.
we do things, we inspire each other together. I'm just the captain of the ship, right? Like if you notice, like every single time that we win something or do something or triple crown, it's always about the team. Like I have the best team in the world, and I truly mean that. And like I would go to war with my people, and that's the kind of mentality. Those are the kind of people that I want coming in here. And those are the people, and even if people leave, right, I want them to take that mentality with them because I know they'll be successful in life.
So are all your sales members as pumped up as you are? Is
It's
that a
not a
culture?
requirement. It's not a requirement, but I wouldn't say that they're all as pumped up as me. But I think that's the thing is that you kind of people are either drawn to you or they're not. And if they're not, like that's that's just the way it is, right? And like not everyone is going to be a good fit for every organization, right? We are very much a uh raw, like I love motivation. I love like going out. I love executing, like that even more than the motivation aspect of it. But to go out and execute, to get a plan and then go out and execute it, like really makes it something that makes anything worthwhile, right? And so my team, I think they're not exactly me, but they do have, we have a good mix of people who who have energy, right? Energy is contagious, right? I mean, like
Yep.
nobody wants to go to work where like it's like, what'd you do today? Where's your KPI, right? I mean, it's just not the way it is, right? And so like we want to be around energy. It's contagious. It fills the room and it really inspires. I'm motivated by energy. So yeah.
Awesome. What are some things you do to keep your energy level up? Because, things could happen in business and there's stressful days and, you want to you want to have a good attitude in front of your staff, but inside it's tough. Or maybe sometimes, your joints hurt or, there's every day is different, So what are some tips to keep your energy level up every day?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. I think I'd stay grounded first and foremost. I think going into things, I think that we can only control two things: our attitudes and our actions. And I tell my team that all the time. Like it doesn't matter what underwriting is doing. It doesn't matter what what's going on if someone's non-renewed or anything along those lines, what rates are, right? We can't control that. So why spend all this energy, the limited time that we have on this planet, why spend all this energy worrying about those things? Instead, focus, like, take it and turn it around and reframe it and look at it from, okay, this happened to me, to maybe this happened for me. Maybe this is something that I can learn from. What's the lesson here? Where can I go from here? Like, what can I do to make sure this doesn't happen again if it's something you can control? If you can't control it, it's out of your control anyways, right? Like, rate increases. I mean, if we lose a bunch of business because of rate increases or a carrier pulls out, right? All we can do is we can, take in what we have, right? Take in the information and then look for other alternatives. That's really all we can do. Like we're lucky being, with farmers, agency owners, like we have, if auto's bad or home's bad, we have commercial, we have life, we have financial services, right? Not every other place has that. Like if you're an independent agent, yeah, maybe you can, go to different carriers or things like that. But what we offer is just so much more. I mean, like that's the cool thing about farmers is they're always looking for other opportunities for us, which I really, really like. From that standpoint. But man, everybody has bad days. Everybody has something happen. I mean, I wish I could just say that like it turns it around like that. but like I just try and focus on what, I know I'm a direct reflection. I know the way that I enter the office, I know the way that I talk to my team is the way they're going to react. I mean, like if I go in there and all, oh man, that those underwriters again, they stink, right? Like that's how they're going to act. So
Hmm.
as the leader, it's our job to keep that motivation going. It's our job to keep our team pumped up, to look at the positives and, to go after it. So that's
Yeah.
kind of a long answer. I hope I answered
No,
the question.
no, totally makes sense. It starts from the top, and the way you lead, you're going to keep the ones that, share the same values as you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's a great way of just controlling what you can, with your attitude and your actions. Those are two things, no matter what's going on, you can control. So yeah, that's a great answer. I love that. What about when it comes to sales and marketing? Which one do you prefer to do, and which one do you think is more important?
Um, I think both are equally as important. Like the majority of our business traditionally has come from like referrals, come from like loan officers, real estate agents, commercial loan officers, commercial real estate agents. So a lot of our business comes that way. But we do, as you know, we do a lot of promotion. Like we do a lot of Facebook, we do a lot of different kinds of social media, LinkedIn. We do buy leads, not quite as many as a lot of some others out there, but we do buy leads to try and supplement that. We do mailers. We do just a full range of things. But I'm one of those people that like the goose and the golden egg, right? Like so
Mhm.
like if like if somebody sends you a referral, and this comes from my days as a loan officer. When I was a loan officer, they told me two things. They said, okay, so you got to go find a bunch of realtors so that they can send you business, and then you got to go find an insurance agent because they're the people that can kind of make sure that the debt to income and loan to value and all that stuff can work out. So having being in that business, I kind of learned from that that there's a lot of weaknesses when it comes to insurance, right? Because when I was a loan officer, let's say you were my insurance agent, like I would refer someone to one of my insurance partners, right? And they would come to me a week later and say, "Hey, your person never called me," and I'm like, "Wait, what? Are you kidding
Hmm.
me? Like, how does that happen?" Or my processor would come and say, "Hey, look, we sent out a request for evidence of insurance a week ago, and we still don't have it," and I'm like, "That's crazy, right?" So like for us, like we want to get things out quickly and efficiently, like right away. Like if we get a referral, we're going to jump on that right away. We're going to drop everything to jump on it and get after it because that's how we make money, right? It's the same thing with with the loan officers when they send over a request for evidence of insurance. We always we will drop, and the same thing with commercial too. We'll drop everything to get those out right away, right? Because we want to make sure that we're doing our job to help that process and make that loan officer look good, so they can send us more business, right? So from that standpoint, from a traditional standpoint, that's kind of how we built our business, especially
Mhm.
originally, was networking and going out and meeting with people and again, I have a lot of energy, so like it's not people do remember me, but but yeah, no, those types of things and like all marketing. I think marketing in so many different ways is so important. I don't think you want to put all of your eggs in one basket because then you're setting yourself up for if it comes to a point where you're just not competitive anymore in one area, then you're kind of SOL in that instance. So
Yeah. And then you're also very active on social media. How has that affected your agency, would you say?
it's amazing because we're talking about again, and I know you know this too, but like what Grant Cardone talked about with regards to with regards to omnipresence, right? And being seen, and it's not something that pays off right away. I mean, I do like business spotlights where I bring in business owners and I'll interview them on camera, and we have a podcast. We do Moriarity Agency Minute. But it's not that people see my videos and say, "Oh, I got to call that guy right away," right? But they over time, then they continue to see it, and then when they think of me, they think of insurance, right? So, I could let you quote me, right? And I would say, oh, Dan is awesome. He knows his stuff, but right now it's, he's just a little bit more than what I'm paying right now. And so I'm in a better situation right now. I'm going to call him again in 6 months, right? Well, 6 months or 4 months later, like I have a bad claim experience with my current carrier. I'm probably not going to remember you unless you're coming, unless you're, kind of in my face all the time. And so that's the way I look at it from social media perspective. Is you're playing the long game. It's
Hmm.
not the short game. It's the long game. And it's like that you get that. And that's the other thing too, is that so much in sales is about know, like, and trust, right? That know, like, and trust factor. Well, if you're on video constantly, people get to know, like, and trust you, or get annoyed by you. But that's okay. We don't want to be annoyed. But that know, like, and trust factor is already there because they already see you as an expert. So that's the reason I do it. I
Yeah.
wasn't very good at it at first, though, Dan. I got to tell you, because my first one was Suits for Soldiers, which was, they were, when soldiers come back with, obviously they don't have business suits or anything like that. And I did like 50 takes of it, and you can find it on my page way down like 6-7 years ago. And I was like, "Hello, my name is Matt Moriarty, and I'm with Suits for Soldiers." And it was like the worst thing ever. And like it's you got to be yourself, and I think that's the most important thing, is that people can see when you're trying to be too professional versus just being yourself.
Yeah, that's definitely not you, Matt.
No, it's not. I look like I was running for Congress.
I don't think that's a monotone is not really your style, but yeah, no, I believe that, you know, it's more for a branding play and it's more long term, and when people think of insurance, they'll think of you. So you have to
Mhm.
be always present and always showing up. But you do a great job with that.
No, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, just being consistent and having, good motivational posts, trying to help other people. And yeah, I could definitely see how when they think of insurance, they think of you.
There you go. There you go. That I won that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what I see some footballs and basketballs, but what are your sports and what did you learn from playing those growing up or even watching them?
Yeah, no, I mean, I played football, basketball, baseball. I played soccer for a while. I coached my kids' soccer teams. I played football in college at a small college in Colorado. And so I come from an athletic family. My dad, he played in the Cincinnati Reds organization. So I was kind of,
Oh wow.
I sports are a huge part of me, in my life growing up. I mean, but what I've learned, like that teamwork thing, right? That team goal, that camaraderie, that like that it's not like in some places where where you're necessarily. I mean, we're all competing against each other, right? So my team is competing against each other, but we're all friends, and we're all cheering for each other. We'll all do anything to help us out, each other out. And if they don't, they're gone. But like it's like that's the whole thing with the team. Yes, it's all about the team. It's not necessarily about the individual, right? And I think that portion, from the sports taught me so much, because we can do so much more as a team than we ever could, just as a person. I mean, if I would have not hired anyone and just been, doing it myself, as good as I could possibly be, right? Like nobody would have ever heard of me, and I would only get to a certain level of success, and that would be it, right? I would certainly never be doing this with you, or with President's Council or Toppers Club or anything like that. So I think that's the most valuable, and I think people struggle with that too, because you've said it before. People see it as a cost instead of an investment. Like even bad hires, right? Because we all have bad hires. They all end up making money in the end, right? Because of the people that they bring in, right? And so you need to look at it from you need to trust it, right? Like, and not everyone is meant to be a business owner or an entrepreneur, right? And have that mindset, but you need to have a little bit of risk. You need to put some capital towards it. And then you need to train, because training is big in our agency. Like, again, I want them to succeed. So I'm going to invest my time and energy in them. So we do role play, we do everything. I mean, I'm going to make sure everything, they're my investments, right? So I want to make sure that, they are on their game, and they are in position to win, because I'm not going to, early on, I remember this. I hired this one lady and I said, okay, well, here's a bunch of leads. Go ahead and call them. Did no training whatsoever. Like I just expected her to, to go out and be able to produce business. And that's just not the way it is. And so that is like core to what we do. It's about the team and it's about like coming together and it's about making each other better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, training is so important. What type of software or do you have any like recommendations when it comes to how to train your team?
Yeah, I mean, we train every single day. We do, and I've done it all, right? So I've gotten like the Craig Wiggins training. I've gotten, Jeremy Olson's training, role play with we call it role play with the Olson twins, but it's role play with the Olson agency. And then that Vlad's one call close. And so we kind of do a mix between all of those. I like Vlad just because you can take someone who's brand new in the industry and kind of set them up for success right away because it's kind of a step by step in everything they do. Craig Wiggins, I love him just because I mean, first of all, he had a $50 million agency, right? Just like Jeremy did, which is amazing. But he has those systems and processes that he put in there. And it's all about the liability, which is 100%. And that's the biggest key I will tell everyone. Don't sell on price because it's not about the price. It's about I mean, we've taken people with state minimums, like many people, like every single week, honestly, that have state minimums because they don't know anything about insurance, but we're able to educate them through our process and they come out with 250, 500 with an umbrella policy. I mean, that's like the biggest, switch in the world is taking someone from state minimums and then getting them 250, 500 with an umbrella policy. And it's all because we have that mindset of, hey, look, we're here to protect you, right? Like this is what, kind of what our whole mindset is that we care about you and we want to make sure, and we give stories as to, some of the things that happen in our agency and why these things are important. And at the end of the day, like our goal is to put people in better position than they were when they came with us. So we take price out of the equation. We just want to help them out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I want to applaud you for doing all the research and signing up for all those classes,
Yeah.
and
It's an investment. It's an investment.
exactly.
It's a write-off too. I don't know.
Why not, right? Learn from the
Right?
best in the business. I think, but sometimes agents maybe struggle with that. They're a little timid on signing up for, those courses. They cost money, or just like staff members. What type of advice do you have when it comes to taking a little risk? And what other type of investments have worked out for you?
Yeah, no. I would say to them that I am living proof that it does work, right? Like these things work. Like instead of being on some sites where you're getting advice from people who maybe have 300 policies, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not who you should be taking advice from. When you need advice about how to become a successful business owner, you need people in your corner, you need mentors, you need people who have done it before and can show you step by step on how to do it. And really, like if you can't, like let's say, what is Vlad's like, $100 a month or $50 a month, right? How
Uh,
much?
it's something like that. It's almost pretty much free.
Yeah, I mean, like what would it look like to you to have to be able to hire someone and have a proven system right there where they can start producing at a high level right away? What does that mean to you, right? What does it mean to you to look at to be able to get in the mind of someone like Craig Wiggins or someone like Jeremy Olson, and be able to learn from them on how they scale and grew their business? Like what would that do for you? Because if I flew out to meet with you, Dan, like how long would it take you to like, and what would you charge too on top of that, right? Like I'm taking up your valuable time, right? So I mean, it would take weeks and maybe months, right, to sit there and get all of your knowledge and learn all this stuff, which is why I always say people should watch this because you give it a lot of it for free. But like how is that not a good investment? The greatest investment you can make is in yourself, 100%. Like there is no doubt. Like you want to know how I'm positive, you want to know how I have so much energy. It's because I take the time to invest in myself and make myself towards the best person I can possibly be. I'm not perfect, but I always am striving towards bettering myself, and that keeps my attitude where it needs to be, and it keeps me grounded. Back to your other question, some of the best investments. Anytime you get an opportunity to acquire another business, I think I say go for it. Like, it's scary. It really is. Like all of a sudden you're taking on debt. Like you don't have any debt right now, and now you're taking on debt, right? But I think that's the best way to scale from that standpoint, to be able to get those things. And there's a lot of challenges because the other agency is used to doing one thing, and we're used to doing this, and there's all
Hmm.
these things, but it's so worth it because it gives you that boost that you kind of need. And it kind of, I love challenges. I love being stretched, and I love, being able to, rise up and, win or lose. Right. And so I love that portion of it. And then the other advice I give too is if you have an opportunity to buy, because as I said before, I own my suite. Right,
Hmm.
I own 4 suites in my building, and like that is the greatest investment you can make too. Because I mean, like I have like right now I'm in a 2,500 square foot suite,
Hmm.
and if I was paying rent, it would be like 5 grand a month, maybe six. In California, it'd probably be like 50 grand, um, like I'm paying like $1,400 right a month, right, and I own it. Like why would I not do that? So if you have that opportunity, take it. And as all of your people have said, they all have something that came up that if you notice, every single person you talk to, they all lean into risks, right? And it's not like they're being like stupid with their money, but they're
Hmm.
taking educated risks, right? And amazingly, they all turn out right. You can find a way to do anything, right? If you have the right attitude and if you like put in the work. So I think that's the 2 things I would give.
Yeah. So it's a office condo that you have?
Office condo, correct?
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, you're absolutely right though, and I think that's another reason why I like to do these videos because then people could see, well, if I take this risk, what if it doesn't work out? But they could see real life examples like yourself who are
Yeah,
taking these risks and is winning from them.
yeah. I mean, there's not very many people that I know that have, I mean, obviously, you take a risk, you're taking a risk, but like if you're going to be an agency owner, if you're not willing to take risks, then go work for someone else. I mean, honestly, you'll be much happier. You don't have all the headaches that come along with it, right? Like, it's not the 1980s anymore when my dad was an agent, like in 90s, right? When like my dad would, just go play golf all day. That's not what it is. This is a business now. And so like that's the biggest thing. Go work for someone else if you don't want to take risks because you're not going to be happy, and you might as well like sometimes I think, hey, if I could just go back to selling all day, right, and not have to worry about everything else, it might not be a bad thing. But I'm someone who just loves loves owning and being an agency owner and growing a business and solving complex problems. It's just something that gets me up. I'm sure you're the same way. I mean, I'm still there for my kids, but I'm here on the weekends. I'm the first one here, last one to leave. Like I take ownership of it, and that's the kind of thing. If you're going to be successful, you have to do.
Yeah, I bet you probably love the challenge.
I love challenge. I
Hmm.
love it.
And yeah, like your point, if you're not really into taking risks, there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking a sales job or
No,
working for another agency. It's kind of a self-awareness thing. It's like
yeah,
what role do you like? And
yeah.
I do believe the agency owner one is the one that requires vision and requires courage and requires capital and
one hundred
it's,
percent.
it's 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 the most stressful job, but it could at the same time be the most rewarding. But not everybody wants that stress, and that's completely understandable.
Yeah, I mean, you can be an entrepreneur within an entrepreneurial organization, so you can still like because it's really your book, right? Like when you come in and work for an agency owner, you can still grow a book, you can still make money, a ton of money. You just don't have all the headaches that come along with it. But you're right. I mean, like you're a visionary, I'm a visionary, right? Like we're dreaming of what's next, what to do next, like how to grow this even bigger. So yeah.
What are the things, the strategies you have to grow bigger? What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, like so the untapped potential that we have with regards to like internet leads, I think is something that we're probably going to lean into a little bit more, especially with the economy the way it is. And because the referral partners that I have, the loan officers and real estate agents, they're not doing quite as well as they were 12, 18 months ago, right? And so there's less of those types of opportunities coming in. So we're going to pivot a little bit more, and we're starting to do that as well, to getting more leads. And Jeremy Olson, I know you know him real well, but his story is, it's the same thing, right? He started off like mostly from a referral standpoint, and then he ended up starting a second agency that was just outside sales. And I think that's the next evolution there. We'd like to grow our commercial department, and life and financial as well. Like to, one thing I haven't done yet is MDRT, which I'd love to do. We have 20 policies so far, life policies so far this year. And so we're looking to hit that this year. But yeah, I mean, we want to grow in every single way possible. We want to make sure that, we're not just stuck in one area, because we're at the mercy of rates then, right? And so if we're all stuck in home and auto, if people's autos go up, their homes go up, they take their homes with them most of the time. So, but we want to make sure that we're and it's not just here, like with farmers, it's everywhere. I mean, I talk to State Farm agents, I talk to independent agents, I talk to, Liberty Mutual, you name it. Everyone is going through the same thing. And while that stinks for us, because our clients are calling us up with, why is rates going up, blah, blah, blah. They're doing it everywhere else as well. So that gives us an opportunity to be aggressive and go after those people as well and bring them in. I like to quote other people, but I already said Ed Milet, but this is separation season. This really is. I mean, like, it's a huge opportunity for us to take market share if we're aggressive in this time, because everyone else is is shrinking down and, letting people go and, just trying to weather the storm. But as we know, like, this is where you can make the biggest impact. This is where you can take the biggest market share is when everyone else is ducking down and you're the only one going up there. And if we continue to build and build and build, even when the economy comes back, right, we are going to be so far ahead of everyone that we're going to be in prime position. So that's what I keep telling my team: be aggressive, stay aggressive. Get after it. Don't worry about what's going on anything in the world. Worry about what you can control. Again, those two things: your attitude and your actions. So,
Yeah, I do agree. Right now is the time to be on the offense.
oh, for sure.
There hasn't been. I mean, each different is different. Each market is different, but I feel like there's more shoppers than ever now.
Oh, for sure. There is so many shoppers. Yeah.
And it's really hard to actually convince somebody to switch insurance when there's no pain points. But when there's rate increases, then people shop and they want to see what else is out there. So when the quote activity is high, that's really the time to really, like you said, separate ourselves from the agencies that are just playing defense and just trying to protect and salvage what they have, not looking elsewhere and trying to gain more from the market. So I think that's a really important point. Playing offense all the time. If you're into sports.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. They say defense wins championship. I just don't know why I thought of that. But you got to score some points to win the game, though.
You do. You have to score points to win the game. But like, if you think it through, for not only are there more people shopping now, but there's these people who would never in a million years shop. Those people that you called up and said, "I love my State Farm agent. I love USAA. I love this, that, and the other. So I'm staying with them." Those are the people that are shopping now. Like, those are the ones that you want because they're the loyal ones, right? And if you can get them in there, they're not interested in making changes down the road. Mm-hmm. It's not the same people that it was 3 years ago who, will leave you for a nickel, to go to Geico or something. These are the ones that we really want. So I really think that, we need to have the right mindset, and we need to go after that business that's there for the taking. And I get it, right? Like, I mean, it's not like, we're immune to not knowing, what's going on in the economy, but like, we have a business to run, and we have a job to do. And we have, we have a responsibility, I think, to, to help not only like farmers, but also the country in general, right? Because like, we can be the shining light that we need to be to show people that, hey, look, it's not, like we can do it, you can do it. Let's all get after it, and let's all crush it. So
Yeah. No, that type of energy is really contagious. And you're not only are you helping the company, like you said, but you're definitely helping out your staff's family, their mindset. And that's what really leadership is all about, you know? And I just
absolutely.
love that you just do it with so much passion. You know, I can just tell that you love what you do, and I feel the same way. It's just a great business to be in, and we're just helping people, protecting people, like what you saw on your second day at your dad's place. And just the world just needs more positive energy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, this is good stuff. I mean, anything we left off as far as like, advice to agents, or any aha moments, or what was it? Do you think it's just a lot of small actions that got you to the PC level, or do you think it was a couple key moves?
Yeah, great question. I think that I think there's a building process. I mean, there's some people that come right out of the gates and will make PC pretty quickly, but I think there's stages of development to this, and I think that especially with people I've talked to, I think there's stages that you kind of go through, and I think that sometimes people get to a certain stage and feel comfortable there, and then don't want to move up. They don't continue to set goals. I mean, obviously our first goal was to make toppers, right? That was the most important thing, right? Last year, I was so mad because like we had the numbers to make president's council except for life, right? And so we were at I think we finished with 22 life, and we
Mm,
needed 24 to even be considered. And I was like, it was like devastating to me because like that was our goal to make PC, and we didn't even get in the running. I mean, I don't know if we'd have made it or not, but like we at least wanted to be in the running. And then to come back this year, I mean, I'm not even kidding you, Dan. Because I saw you down in Dallas, you gave you at Vlad's thing, and you did a phenomenal job. But
thank
I
you.
was behind on life again, and I was like, you think I would come out motivated for life? And what I did was I got my team together and I said, hey, look, guys, like, this is our time. This is our opportunity to make this. Like, we have the numbers to make it. It's just not the life. And so, it was like August, September. It
It's
was like,
later on, yeah,
yeah,
September, late.
September, yeah, late September. And
Hmm.
I'm like, we got to make this a priority. So, and this is a key for, anything, but we, instead of what I told the team is, I said, instead of worrying about how many life insurance policies we need, let's just focus on activity, right? I want to know how many people you're asking. I want to know how many people and we made a contest out of it, and we had awards for who had the most ask. We had cash bonuses, things like that. And you'd be surprised that next thing you know, I mean, we got 22 policies in the final 2 months, right? And got us off to, and that creates that culture, because now we're really doing really well in life, and it made it a priority. And I think that if you focus on, you don't have to listen to me. Just go, like Nick Saban, or Bill Belichick, right? What are they talking about? Focus on the fundamentals, right? Focus on, there's a lead and lag measures. Focus on the lead measures that will get you to where you want to be. And so, like, that's all we did. And we ended up getting where we needed to be. And we've continued that. So I think that if you want, rather than looking at where you're at from a premium standpoint, we all want to get good premium. We all want to sell policies, but focus on the activity, because the activity is what breeds to get you to where you need to be. If you focus on your activity, there's no way you can't hit any goal.
I love that stuff. I love that stuff. Yeah, it's all about the activity. Sometimes we get a little too focused on the result,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason we get discouraged. But as long as you're doing everything you can, your intent is to just do the right activity to get the result, then the result is just gonna be a matter of time. And that
Oh, for
makes you a
sure.
little bit more patient. That makes you a little bit more focused on that actual activity than trying to take shortcuts. And I love, short promotions like that, where you need to get a sprint of getting 20 policies by the end of the year. Because once you know you could do it, it's just going to be something that your agency just kind of keeps. And as a
Absolutely.
culture, you just keep doing it. So that is a great story of really putting your mind into it, getting your team behind it. Do you do you talk to your team in front of them as far as like meetings goes, or do you are you more of a one-on-one or small group type of leader?
No, I get in front of them. I get in front of everybody. So we have a meeting with with service sales, everyone. So um, I mean, I just open up my heart and I talk. I mean, that's just all I do. And like I think that that's because I believe in them. I believe in them. I believe in us. I believe in farmers. I believe in everything. I know that if we do the work, if we stay focused on what we can do on an individual basis to help the team, that we're this is just the beginning, right? I tell my team, like when we made President's Council, I'm like, hey guys, this is amazing. This is great. I love you guys. You did a phenomenal job. Like this is a total team effort. But guys, this isn't where we ain't done. This is just the beginning. This is just the starting point, right? And we do that on every single thing that we get. It's the starting point. It's where we can go. Like how high can we climb? Like I want to compete, and I know you do too. I want to compete with I want to compete with you, but I want to get to where Jeremy is. I want to get to where Craig Wiggins was, right? Like that is why not? I mean, like we're here, like why not? We have something that that we can change people's lives, not only our clients but our team as well. Like why not scale and grow that? Why not make that the difference? Because nobody else is doing that. Nobody else sees that vision of, and I'm not saying nobody else, but most people don't see that vision of growth, and it's there for the opportunity. So why not take advantage of it? So and we can truly help people along the way.
Yeah. Well, I think just from this conversation, I could tell the reason we're such a good, great leader is that you bring certainty. I think there's different, people that want to be led is because they lack certainty. They don't know which direction the agency is going or what the leader is thinking or what directions they're trying to go. But I could tell the way you're talking to them is full of certainty, and that is one of the biggest things you could bring value to a team.
I
And
agree.
and the same thing with sales too. When
Yeah.
you believe in the product. So if anyone got anything out of this, and there was a ton of stuff to get out of this one, Matt. I mean, I'm really excited that to just release this even right already. But the certainty part, the level of certainty you bring, I think that's what separates you from the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I just honestly, I just want us to win. I want our team to win. Like, I know that we have the talent to be, even better. And I'm big on like, you're either growing or you're dying. And I'm a big proponent on growing every single day in small steps, right? Like 1% better every day. Like, and it translates, right? Like I'm a completely different person than I was, the day I started my farmers agency, right? And I'm a different person from last year, right? And so every single day I wanted to get better and better. And I think that is so important because it gets you excited about life, and it gets you to the point where you're like, wow, this is truly amazing that that like, but we have so much more potential, right? Like, and I think that humans in general don't realize the potential they have. And if they just took a little bit of advantage of it, and if they just put a little bit of effort into getting better and better every single day, I think this, as I said before, this world would be so much better place.
That's so true. First of all, we'd be so much more optimistic about the future when we're,
Absolutely.
just improving ourselves. You look forward to the future, and what more can you ask for when it comes to being happy if you're looking forward to tomorrow because
Yeah.
you're going to be a better version of yourself. Man, those are all, yeah, good stuff that I completely agree with. It's so funny how we think alike.
I know, right?
But you know what? I think it has to do with a lot of the content that we both consume.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
so important when we have free time. We have the choice to, watch a certain show or talk to a certain friend or choose what we watch on YouTube or choose what we listen to on the way to work or at the gym. And by putting positive information and useful information in our brains, that's really what our results come out of from. So
Absolutely.
yeah, um, yeah, the energy is incredible. When you're waking up at 4:30, what time are you going to sleep? Because I'm at 5:45 and I don't know why. I just can't, get any earlier than that. I'm trying my best, but for some reason my body needs a lot of sleep.
Well, yeah, yes, exactly. And honestly, like it took a long time to get to that area, and it's kind of it's annoying too because we'll go on vacation, and like I'll try and sleep in, and we'll be in Florida or something, and like my body still wakes up. So not only am I up at 4 a.m., I'm actually up at 2 a.m. Florida time. So I usually go to bed like 9:30 somewhere around there.
Oh yeah, yeah, same here. And I
Yeah.
still wake up no matter what at 5:45. I don't need an alarm, but I gotta do something to not and then yeah, the morning times I feel like is when you get the most work done.
Oh,
It's
for
it's
sure.
like there's no
Yeah.
distractions. You get, there's your brain is more clear-headed and it's just before the clients and the employees start asking questions, it's like a really important time of the day. So if I could get a little bit of a head start there, I think it'll make a big difference.
Well, I think you have an opportunity to put like your bulletproof vest on, right? So you have an opportunity to like get clear on where you're going, like what your goals are, where you're taking this, what you have to do for the day, all those kinds of things. And so you go into the day with a positive attitude versus waking up,
In a
watching the
rush.
news, right?
Oh
In
yeah,
a
yeah.
rush, watching the news, like listening to the latest gossip, and you come to work and two people have canceled and all of a sudden your day is shot, right? Whereas if you get up and like you're intentionally focused on where you're going, like what, like this is the play in the long game, like reading inspirational things, writing down your goals, working out, you come to work already where it doesn't matter what comes at you because you're already set for that. You already have the right mindset for it. And so I think that's so important. And no, I don't drink coffee either. So
Well,
just to be clear,
come on.
I don't.
All
This is all
right.
natural. I
It's-
can't. I would be bouncing off the walls if I drank coffee.
No, so it's just like 5 hour energy drinks or
No, I don't drink. I don't. This is all natural. That's the funny thing about it, right? So I do have pre workout when when I lift, like when I'm doing arms and especially legs. But other than that, it's all natural.
that's amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah, but
It can
no,
be annoying.
no, no, no. It's you're only helping out the people around you. Trust me. But yeah, back to your point, I think it's so important to wake up early and then before, you get bad news from the office, you have some small wins already stacked up. So you can
Yeah,
walk into the office with confidence that, hey, I already did what I said I was going to do. And it just gets you off to such a greater momentum coming into, work or sometimes what seems like battle. You already walking in with, preparation that you already did what you're supposed to do, and it just gives you so much more confidence walking into the office. So yeah, the win in the mornings, I'm a big believer in that. And just yeah, being there for your team. I mean, the work ethic is something that is yeah, the difference maker there. So yeah,
yeah,
put in the work and taking massive action. That's really where
yeah.
it's at.
Well, and again, they're all watching, right? And so, like, if you're, coming to work for 2 hours and not putting any work in, I mean, that's how they're going to do. But like, if you're going to be a leader, if you want people, to follow you, then you need to get out there and be there with them and put in the work as well as you said. So, 100%.
Yeah. What about the future of your agency? Do you see a third generation?
I hope so. So my oldest daughter Tori, she's kind of a natural when it comes to that. So
Oh
I
yeah.
already have her like, I already have her like learning, sales scripts and things like that. My younger daughter Lizzie, my wife's an interior designer, so Lizzie's probably more along those lines. But yeah, Tori has the energy like I do, so I think hopefully at some point she will go into the business as well. So.
Yeah, well, it's a great opportunity, it's something that I will
Absolutely.
recommend my kids to, and that you can see now why your dad kind of helped you go that direction?
I never in a million years, Dan. What do you? If you'd have asked me at 18 if I was ever going to be in insurance, I would have said not no, but heck no. So,
So how many years were you doing other things for?
um, so I graduated college in 2003. So, probably like I started my agency in 2015. So yeah, I mean, like, so I was,
12 years.
uh, yeah. So wow. Mhm.
Yeah. Do you think that, or wish, not that you have regrets, but do you wish that you started earlier, or do you feel like those experiences helped you get off to a better start?
I don't think I'd have been ready for it at that point. I think I would have, because I think those experience taught me so much. Selling copiers, I mean, I had to make like 100 outbound dials every single day between, before noon, and then
Hmm.
in the afternoon, if I didn't have appointments, then I'd have to go to like a business park, like your building. I would have to go in and actually door knock, and so I'd have to actually come in and be like, um, hey Dan, what kind of copier you got, right? So like, and you just face so much rejection, and it kind of builds like a shield around you because you learn so much from that. You begin to not care, right? Like, and again, because it's not personal. No one's saying like, hey Matt, I hate you, like get out of my face. So it's more along the lines of they're not interested, right? And so I think that really got me to embrace that portion of it, and it got me to where I'm not necessarily afraid to take chances too, because I think that prior to that, I don't think I was quite as aggressive with regards to that. So I think that really taught me that to not worry about that rejection aspect of it. I think that being a loan officer really helped me with regards to learning from a referral standpoint, and learning how to network, and learning that portion of the business, which especially early on helped me tremendously, right? Because that keeps costs down when you're getting referrals as opposed to spending money on other kinds of marketing. And then, when I was at Jam, I raised myself to VP of sales. And so that portion of it, like, really got me, because I'm talking like when I was in this business, I'm talking to people who are C-level type people. So it got me an
Hmm.
opportunity to get in front of people and kind of like not be intimidated by other people as well. So would I have been as successful if I'd have started at 22? Probably not. But it so I think every experience that I've had has given me an opportunity to learn from and kind of go from there. So I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, the last experience, you probably were leading teams too.
Yeah, exactly. Leading teams, learning about growing teams, or different organizations, org charts, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, from because we certainly do face a lot of rejections in the
Yeah,
beginning, and
right.
yeah, sales is where what makes us money. As much as so many responsibilities we have as agency owners, we have to make sure we have a strong sales team and a strong sales mindset and a strong belief in sales training. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
that totally makes sense. All that experience makes you the leader and agency owner that you are today.
Well, and it helps too, because then if I'm telling people, hey, go make calls, they're like, if I've never made calls in my life, then like, why are they going to listen to me? But I'm like, hey, look, I had to make 100 outbound calls every single day. Like at every position, in every position I've been in, I had to make outbound calls. So, I'm not afraid to start making calls. So, that's how we built this business. It was essentially just myself and Kendra. Like that was it for like the first 3 years. It was just two of us. So so I mean, like I've been there, done that, and can do it again if needed be. So
Yeah, and I think that's really important for the agency owner to have, to everybody know that you're a closer,
mhm.
that you're proven. So that means you're not trying to teach something that you don't know anything about, So definitely paying your dues and knowing how to close deals, and then being able to teach others how to do that. I think that's just a step that we all can't skip.
Exactly, 100%.
Well, yeah, man. Well, man, this has been a show the whole time. You're on fire. You absolutely killed it. I'm really glad to get to know you. Looking forward to actually, being able to see you in person and congratulate you.
Absolutely.
And I just see nothing but just great things in the future, you know. And you're the type of agent that every agent would want to be around, you know. So if you're not following Matt, I recommend everybody to do so, um, and just to see, you know, what it takes, you know, work ethic, working out, you know, and having the right mindset. And I think once you have those three things, you know, you're halfway there because it's all about energy. And if you have the energy and you're having the right attitude and activities, and the results is just a matter of time.
100%. 100%. Couldn't agree more.
All right, thanks again, Matt. Any last words you want to share to everybody?
No, no, just go on. Like, I mean, like the greatest thing with with these videos, Dan, is and the ones that you do by yourself, and then also the ones where you bring people in, like you can hear all of these things. You can sit here and say, wow, that's a good idea. But unless you actually execute, it's not going to make a difference. If I would have gone to that conference and I would have saw Jesse Dreyer and I would have saw Megan Toole Hall and just said, wow, that's a really good idea. But then not executed on that, like I wouldn't even be in the business probably. So I think that's the biggest thing. If you hear a good idea, not saying that my ideas are good, maybe you can take one thing from each video, but like if you hear one thing, it's execution that makes a difference. It doesn't matter how much you know, it's what you execute.
Boom. There you go. That's a perfect one to end with because there's a lot of things you talked about there. And I think a lot of times people may take notes or people may say, hey, that's a great idea. But the speed in which you take action is what really implements change. So hopefully you guys out there, at least one, two, three things that, you know, we talked about that you'll take into action. And I'll be happy to hear that, hey, that one thing Matt said really made a difference in my agency. And that's really what I make these videos for, to hear that something helped you guys. So hey, Matt, I'm so happy that you're part of the show now. There's definitely be a part two once you have some updates with your agency. And I'm really looking forward to just keeping in touch with you and helping each other out. So let me know if you ever need anything. But for now, hey, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it, my man.
All right, have a good one.